That's right. You saw the thumbnail. You read the title. I'm officially putting my hat in the ring for the Deltarune crack theory. Is this gonna be the new friend inside me? Spooky dude, Woody theory? Not really. Do I truly believe in this? Kind of. Did I only do this video because of a certain comic dub slash comic someone made? Maybe. But that doesn't matter. 'Cause today, we are officially doing, like I said, put my hat in the ring for racism theory. Let's fucking go. Welcome to Racism Theory. As you can see, I have an avatar and everything. If you don't know, I recorded our intro like a few months ago. And I was too lazy to ever do it, but now we're locked in, boys. We're locked in. So, how do we start this? It's simple. Okay, so in Undertale, where the monsters and the humans had a war, mainly because the humans were racist towards the monsters, and thought the cute little baby boys or the wholesome monsters were gonna you know be bad and evil. Classic showing of racism. They had a war between it, thinking that since the monsters can absorb human souls, they think that monsters can absorb a human soul and use it for bad, evil. Well, yeah, classic humanity being racist once again. But in Deltarune, it's a little different, where now many people think that the humans and monsters live in peace. I have a different story. What if? Okay, so a lot of people think that the monsters and humans had a peace treaty. Well, maybe it wasn't just a normal peace treaty. Maybe it was a racism peace treaty, where they said, listen, you filthy monsters can live in your own separate town, but leave out of human areas, as a way to separate monsters and humans. Why not by simply locking them underground? So that would be a fair thing. Sorry, I'm back. Sorry, I fucked up my line, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, back to racism theory. Anyways, so guys, you know hometown, right? A little Serbian little town. Well, what if that town is a segregation town, where little towns are specifically made for monsters and only for monsters, as a way to segregate the monsters? Now I could be saying, whoa, hold on. Sorry, I had a cough. Now you're probably thinking, whoa, how do you know that? Maybe there's just monster towns, just like how there's like black neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, or like white towns, black towns. Yeah, but what about your evidence? Don't worry about it. Anyways, so that guy just got assassinated. No, unimportant. Anyways, like I was saying, like I said, my evidence. Well, don't ask about it, or else you'd be just like the last guy. But no, but anyways, besides that, again, racism theory. Sorry, keep on burping. I just ate. A little gassy. Anyways, so racism theory. What if the town is just a segregation, just like how the black people were segregated back in who gives a fuck century, where they were segregated into their own little towns? What if this is their own little monster town, just for monsters? Now it clearly shows that the monsters are not racist, meant because Chris is there, and they're not racist towards Chris. At least Torio is. Maybe they were at first, but Torio surely convinced them to stop being racist. Before there's a human book. Anyways, I wish I'd ignore that if you heard that. Chat, I'm not fucking streaming, but anyways, like I said, what if, like I said, the town is because of segregation and they're suffering because of segregation? That could be it. That could be it. Like I said, maybe the monsters, the humans, put them in the town there. So yeah, and that's why they're there. And that's why we don't see other humans there, because they're racist. Also explains with Susie in the human town theory. Maybe, Susie was adopted by nice humans, but the reason why she's not there is because you know, the racists, maybe the humans were so racist towards Susie that she had to leave the human town. But it does go with Susie was raised in a human town. So yeah, so maybe perhaps it go fits with that theory where she was raised in a human town and everybody was racist towards her. She was so pissed off she left. Perhaps, actually no, maybe her parents weren't the nice. Maybe they were first trying to be nice, but in reality they were just filthy racist. So she left and came homeless and like ate chocolate. You know, that could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. That could have worked. And also, it can also fit with you know, Susie was a human theory, which you remember I said in the beginning, according to a few months ago, that I basically considered off a comic. Well, it's by hold on, let me grab my phone. I have it saved somewhere. Not the comic, but like, the creator of it. Alright, chat. I got it. It's by this comic by Linux or LYNX art and comics. You know that person. Oh yeah, Linux Griffin. I just call him Griffin. Yeah, the Griffin. Yeah, that person that inspired me. It also goes with the theory that Susie was a human, but that her fucking mom, got around town with the monster, and then they fucking smashed and stuff, and we're like Susie was actually a human, but since with her father, she slowly turned into a monster, and the racism theory is correct. That means her mother or parents or whatever was racist towards her, which as you know caused her to be very pissed off and mad and stuff. So yeah, that could work. Honestly, that could work. It goes both with Susie was raised in a human village or a town, and also Susie was once a human but slowly turned to a monster because her mother got around town. Or yeah, in fact, it was probably by thinking, well, Susie's racist, and why did she fuck a monster? Or sorry, Susie's mother was racist. Perhaps she was drunk, and perhaps they were both drunk, and she thought that the monster took advantage of her. Yeah, that's correct. Classic racism. So yeah, and then as the one comment they made, the parallels between Chris and Susie were like Susie was raised in a human town, but as soon as she turned into a monster, everybody fucking hated her. Unlike Chris, where everybody just loves Chris, at least everybody just knows Chris and feeling towards Chris. Yeah, that could work. Like I said, perhaps, maybe that's why. Maybe because the humans are racist towards the monsters. That's true. All I gotta say is that I hope that Azrael's in an all monster college, because all I gotta say is that, it's gonna be really, all I gotta say that maybe Jaru was not wrong about Azrael being dust, because if he goes into college full of humans, he's gonna be nothing but dust. That's what I tell you. Dust! It's gonna be dust. He's gonna be dust. But hopefully that's not true. That's not true in Azrael. Either a monster college or a college that's not racist. Perhaps maybe in a certain college, in a certain area that's not racist. That could be a possibility. So yeah, as you can see from that, my shitty thing, by the way, I'm recording this literally just today, just getting this video out today. Because, well, I mean, in fact, this video was not even meant to come out today. I just made it just because, why the hell not? Perfect timing. Let's do it. Racism theory. So yeah, that's my pitch for racism theory, and that's why, the humans or the monsters. And I just realized they could also explain magic theory, where maybe the monsters also had to give up most of their magic, but obviously keep the magic within them in order to survive. But still, like I said, probably keep a little bit of magic, but majority of their magic is gone. At least they can't use magic. Maybe that was part of the peace treaty. In other words, the humans being racist towards the monsters. Like, hey, listen, you'll stop being a little racist as long as you give up your magic. Maybe that's why. Guys, I might be cooking here. That is racism theory, everybody. I hope you enjoy that. Yeah, this is my magnum opus. That's racism theory. I don't know how to end off this video. All I gotta say is, that's just a theory. A racism theory. Goodbye.